Good morning. So what some beautiful readings to end ordinary time to get us ready for Lent. How this brings everything together. What we've learned during the Sundays from the Sermon on the Mount. The idea that Jesus is always teaching us. How last week or in the week before we were hearing about the creation story. About how man is always trying to be God. I mean, that was Eve's first sin. And Adam's first sin. They were tempted by the devil by saying that if you eat this fruit, you will become like a god like us. And it's this idea of meekness that's throughout, even in the beginning in the first reading from Sirach, which is always one of my favorite wisdom books. How he's talking about you trust in the Lord so much more than us, how much we can understand from him. There's always going to be trials because he's trying to teach us how to always depend on him more and more. It's like a good parent with their kids that don't give them everything, that you discipline them out of love. And that's what the Lord is always trying to work with us with. And then we turn to this gospel reading, and it's really about meekness. The idea that Jesus is telling us that meekness is not this thing that we think about nowadays, that it's somebody that has no power at all, that, we hear somebody that's meek and we think that they're weak or something like that, and it's not weakness. It's the giving of self over, that you don't let your own ego get in the way. And he talks about it right in the beginning. I mean, can you imagine if you were one of the apostles listening to him? You've seen this man have power over nature. He's calmed the seas. He's done amazing things. He's raised people from the dead, and he's talking about how he must suffer, about how he's going to climb above this cross, and that he has all the power to bring himself off that because he truly is God, something we will never be. But he allowed himself, through his meekness, to suffer for us because it was nothing about his ego. It was all about his love for other people, which we just heard even last Sunday when we had the readings together about turn the other cheek, about how radical that was all. So as we close this ordinary time, let us learn from Jesus and let us focus, I know I will be for Lent this year, on how to be the meekest person I can be. That understand that that does not mean that I'm weak or just to be bullied over, but to give myself completely over to others and to learn to love more and more as I can.